425. As you're noticing, we are not buying like properties we're going to go flip. We're buying move-in ready homes. So this is why it's such an awesome strategy to go with those that are fix and flipping or wholesaling, right? Because you're dealing with the opposite asset class. So that way you can balance it out and create consistent income. Sold it for 425. Here's our payday one, 41,000. We collected actually 31,000 up front and 2 installments of 5,000. So we can also break down those payments. Our payday two, 473 a month in cash flow, $13,000 as well, and what is what we made in total on cash flow. We marked up the property $69,000. We're getting a $569 a month off the principal as we're making the mortgage payment. The principal and the PITI is being paid every month, and we're making the payment. So we had $16K that we're paying down in that time frame. I think it's a 4.25% interest rate. We already collected $41K, so we got $44,000 on the back end. So it's a nice little, actually the property is behind $4,100 in arrears too that we caught up. $95K in 29 months. This is down at the Cape.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Are you truly capturing payday in your pocket, or is that help escrow in any way?
No, it goes right into your pocket.
So,
All you have to do is show that it's being sourced. Because you have to think about all these strategies are, think of it as a delayed cash sale. Money comes in today, we're then going to show the mortgage lender because it's been sourced from their bank account to our bank account, and it's being recognized, and they're going to share with it when they actually go try to qualify for their bank loan.
But that's a truly non-refundable cash in hand.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
You don't have to sit on that cash until that thing comes full cycle.
No, absolutely not. You go put that thing right in your pocket. The only time in which you would ever hold money, and you don't have to hold it in escrow, but in your bank account, is if for some reason you collected way more money than you had equity in at day one, which means you have to wait to pay down the principal. Which we've had that happen with your first deal when he collected $95K up front or $92,000, you only had how much in equity to start?
I didn't have much at all.
So you had to wait for that principal to pay down. So it's almost like he sits in that bank account, and as you pay down another $1,000, pull the $1,000 over, right? Because you don't want to have to. If they ever cash out early, you'd have to come to the table with money. Does that make sense, guys?
Payday 3, I had to come disabled in $19,000.
Yeah, which you collected up front.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many of these different strategies that's happening, right? So this was a gentleman that we showed how to move from wholesaling to creative. Still does lots of wholesaling down in Sergio, down in Florida as well. All right, last strategy: lease options, lease purchases. This is not ownership. This is controlling an asset. So why would you use this? Number one, is this your true no money down deal, right? Seller stays on title, you just take control of the property, which gives you the ability to go ahead and market it and sell it on rent to own. This is also known as a sandwich lease, if anybody's ever heard of those before. And if you didn't, I'm the first one that told you. All right. So, mortgage stays in seller's name. If there is one, title doesn't transfer. You make payments on the seller's behalf. You control the property, and you cloud the title with a notice of option or memorandum of real estate, depending on whatever area you're in. Here's a quick little property in Rhode Island. This was an expired listing. We bought it for $199. We had 36-month term on it, so we had to cash out the seller in 36 months. Sold it for $219. Our payday was $9,000. I want to show you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly here. So we collected a nice little $9,000. Monthly payment to the seller was $1,450. When I say the seller, I mean we pay the seller's mortgage on their behalf. We get the login, we go ahead and pay it. This was flipped around. Buyer paid us $1,450. We had to pay $1,126. So we had $324 in cash flow. $11,000 in 36 months. We marked up the house $20K. We had $19,200. If you take that out and divide it by 36, that'll give you your principal pay down per month if you want to look at it. Here's the importance. This is big. On most people's lease options, on how people do it, not necessarily the right way, is they'll say, I want to lease option your property at a certain price, right? And then I'm going to go sell it for a higher price. And then when the guy's ready to buy the house, I'll pay you off at that price. Does that make sense? Instead, what we do is we lock in the seller's equity. This is important because then that allows us to have the principal pay down on the deal. So that means, like, so for example, if I bought a house for $200,000, the seller had $20,000 in equity. I would, in my agreements, especially if you're using ours, Section 13B on the agreement, it says that we are going to buy the property for the exact mortgage balance at the time of financing, which is in 3 years, plus I'll pay you the $20,000. That allows us to get equity in a deal and pay down principal in a deal that we don't own. In this deal, it equated to an extra $20,000 by that simple line in our agreement. So this little deal, about $50K on this lease option. Questions? Yeah, go ahead.
So in your deals, they're contracting to try to purchase it and qualify in some time frame.
Yep.
And of course you're marking up the price at that point.
Yep.
And in order for them to qualify, if it's a FHA, I mean, basically it has to
Sure.
it has to appraise, and of course.
Well, there's no appraisal contingency. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Any of our agreements, no appraisal contingency. We've only actually had it a couple times within our career here. But at the end of the day, appraisal is it's a judgment call based on the appraisal.
Right, but for
So-
them to finance.
Exactly.
For the bank as well.
This is why it's really important that we help them get the highest amount of non-refundable deposit as possible, which is credited towards their purchase price.
Mhm.
So that way, most banks are actually going to treat this more as a refinance because they've been living in the property than they are a new loan. And then what do, right? You can, depending on how the mortgage lender wants this thing to actually get to the finish line, they can rearrange the purchase price if they choose to, as long as it cashes out and as long as the buyer gets credited for everything in which they put down the property. It's a little bit of a creative game. Yes, miss?
How do you justify the markup on the price, the sales price?
How do I justify it, or how do I come up with the, like, how do I know how to increase the value on it?
So if the sale price, if you're looking at comp, say it's,
Yep,
219,
sure.
and you mark it up to 230.
Yep.
How do you justify that to the person buying it?
Oh, the buyer she was asking how does she justify it, like the purchase price, like almost like how do you convince the buyer to buy it at 230? Well, our buyers know that we're taking a property off the market of a property that they have the option to buy it for 2 years, right, or 3 years. Plus, they can't qualify for a bank loan, so we're deciding the purchase price as long as it's relevant to that buyer, and they're more than willing to pay that premium because we're able to live in it, enjoy it, and work towards owning it. And the likelihood that that property is going to appreciate during that time frame is also, pretty high. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Are you considered the landlord at all, doing any kind of fixes on the property that come up during the 3 years that they own it?
Yeah, so our agreements state that they are 100% responsible for any and all maintenance repairs on the property. Now, the only time that that's ever going to really come up, because if it defaults to tenant law, if you ever have to deal with a challenge like an eviction, right, which they default in one of 2 ways. They either default on the options, meaning they're not making the non-refundable deposits, or they default on the second way, which is they don't make the monthly payment. And that's typically when you have to deal with an eviction. But our buyers know and are trained we have very specific videos and a very specific process that they walk through, that they are to continue to keep up the property. They're the ones that are gonna handle any and all contractors or anything like that if anything were to break, because they're also building equity into that deal too if they make any improvements, because we have a locked-in price with that. Yeah, this is why most people that are in the landlord business end up coming to join us and do these types of creative deals, because now they don't have to manage more assets. I actually had a gentleman who had 650 rentals in Oklahoma City, and he started to sell them all off on rent to own in order to lower his overhead. And really what he was doing was he was lowering the management fees that he was having to pay for managing all those 650 units. Or 650 single family properties, not units. Does this make sense?
Yep.
What was the value proposition to the seller in this scenario? What did they get?
I don't remember exactly what this seller was.
It seems like they didn't get anything.
Well, no, they might have got their price, which they would have to get cashed out somewhere around here as well. I don't know this exact seller, but I am going to tell you why sellers would sell to you. So I'm so glad you brought this up. Like, this is perfect timing. All right, so number one, maximize price. So if we're buying a property and we have time utilizing our strategies, then we can buy the property. It could be retail price. Heck, I paid premium on people's properties. Imagine if you get a 0% interest rate, right? Can you pay an extra 10 grand or $20,000 over price? Well, damn sure you can, because if you're paying just towards principal for the next 4 to 6 years, you're way below market by like the third year. So that's one reason. Number two, create cash flow. Because how many people became tired landlords during COVID? They no longer wanted to actually manage tenants, toilets, and trash. Well, this is a great opportunity for people like us to step in and go acquire that property and pay them passive income as being owner financing. We're buying it sub 2. And these are only a couple reasons. Estate or tax planning purposes. I think I might have a HUD at the end of here, just a moment, where we actually bought our building from a seller that literally had a sign in the yard that said wants to do seller financing because he wanted his trust to be paid, but he didn't want his family to actually have to manage the units anymore. So we bought the property and we paid the trust. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
How are they getting the cash flow? Aren't you getting the cash flow?
Well, imagine if you have a debt-free property and then they're becoming your bank, right? And let's assume they're holding a mortgage and I'm making a payment to them for $1,000, but I can get $1,500. Well, they're getting $1,000 in passive income, and you're getting $500, right? So everybody's winning.
What if they have a mortgage?
Depends on. Now it's a numbers game, right? Just like all real estate. Maybe it's that's $1,500 on, but we know we can go get $3,000 and we'll self-manage it. Or we'll bring a management company in. We're happy to make $300 and they make $300. A lot of questions would be like, hey, imagine if I can get you maybe less than what you're getting right now, but it's passive income. Some people are like, yeah, let's do it. Or other reasons. All right, we find sellers a couple different ways. Expired listings, for sale by owner, niche lists, wholesalers. I'll give you guys all the links and everything on Saturday as well as we walk through this. I know we had some multifamily people here, so I just wanted to share with you a quick multifamily deal because this is even more relevant, especially seller financing in multifamilies, because this is no longer a personal asset. This is typically now a business, right? And in business, we're just looking for the best options, period. This is a for sale by owner. We bought it for $259,900. This seller actually he had 2 multifamilies and he was trying to sell them. He was a professor and he was going to retire in about 3 or 4 years. No longer want to manage these properties anymore. So this is exactly the strategy that I was telling the gentleman back there in that question. We bought it $1,000 principal only payment per month. We're creating $735 per month in net income, plus we had some laundry. Exit strategy on this is not to sell on rent to own. This is to pay down debt and increase NOI so that we can go ahead and sell it. Right? So exact strategy is all you guys are using for multifamilies. Just instead we're buying it smarter. Wicked smart, as most people would say. All right, increase NOI. This is what it ended up looking like. We bought for $259,000. We paid down $49,000 in principal. So we had a $210,000 payoff. Sold it for $279,000. We created $35,000 in NOI, $104,000 on a 48-month turnaround on this deal. Now there's a little bit of improvements of the rents and a little bit of improvements of the units. Now this is IRA invested, IRA owned. I'm not going to dive into that today. This was that building. I know you guys cannot see this at all. Especially, sir in the back, you mind reading this for me? All I wanted to point out is this building, Middletown, Rhode Island. We were looking to buy our own investment, or we were looking to buy our own building for our companies. We couldn't go get traditional financing. We were a credit financing company, right? So we bought this building in November 30th of 2018. Bought it for $550. $550 we bought it for. We put down $35,000. We had a 5.281 interest rate with the seller. It's seller financing. We sold it in 2023. I moved back to Massachusetts. We hadn't sold it. We sold for 1.25. This is a company, they own nail salons, and they're trying to turn this into housing. If you look at it right here on the HUD, we got $750K at closing on this deal. I share with these things, not to impress you in any way, I share this to impress upon you that there's better ways to buy real estate, especially if you understand these strategies. Because this deal would not have made that much money unless we got seller financing. And quite frankly, we would have not bought this deal because the seller wanted seller financing. Does that make sense? All right, as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm going to share it with you guys just quickly. If you guys choose to, you guys want to work with us, educate yourself. I want to give you guys a couple different things you guys can go ahead and dive into if you choose to. We created this program called the 3 Paydays Apprentice. We created it last year because we believe that that we really need to incorporate 3 different, very specific things in order to help somebody actually implement these strategies. Number 1 is we had to actually train with them in person. Now I know like tonight it's 45 minutes or on Saturday it's 4 hours. But to implement a business, it takes time, right? So we actually have, and I'm sharing with you, we have a 2.5-day in the trenches boot camp that we host in Newport, Rhode Island, where we literally would make phone calls on your behalf to sellers all day long on day 1. Day 2, we're gonna literally structure deals and help you send out offers. And then day 3, we'll then go ahead and help you structure out the exact strategies that you need to implement in order to reach your goals. You want to need 10 deals, 5 deals, whatever it may be. So that's in person. 2 is we know that most people are extremely busy and in person is only going to be short, so we need to be able to work with you virtually. Would you guys agree?
Yes.
All right, so we had 90 days worth of group coaching. And then we want to make sure, the 3rd is you need to be able to educate yourself on your own as well. I mean, like you actually have to study the material in order to implement these strategies. So that's why we put this whole thing together. We made it, very inexpensive for most. All right. So first and foremost, I'm just going to walk you through what's in the course because you can, no matter what, you can buy that if you choose to. We hit on this a little bit, but this goes deep now. So how to actually launch and implement this system, we call it our quantum leap system. Number 2 is how we create a trackable, predictable business. Does anybody actually measure their KPIs? Does anybody know, raise your hand if you know what a KPI is? Okay, so most people don't. It's just what you measure, right? It's key performance indicator. Am I doing the right things on a day-to-day basis to reach my goal? And it's just math, I promise you. Number 2 is all the lead gen that we use on a day-to-day basis. Now you guys are lucky enough that I'm not speaking in California or I'm not speaking in Arizona like I am next month. Here is where we've been doing deals forever. So if anything, you guys got that great proof of concept. So all the scripts you need in order to do these deals, we have everything from your VAs to you on every single lead source you can imagine. So we can show you exactly what to say and how to ask the question. Because that's all creative financing is, just asking different questions. Mod 5 is how to structure a sign-out deals. We didn't talk about that, but it is basically wholesaling a lease option. So connecting a buyer and seller together. You only get paid one time though. I know, it's disappointing. He laughed. I've been paying him. All right, then we dive into owner financing. So actually deep dive into seller financing. And then buying on lease purchases. I know I get asked all the time, why don't you guys just sell these as multiple different courses? Like most people do. We want to give you guys an entire system. Then we have to structure subject to deals. And then how to launch the properties and actually sell these things on rent to own, because I know you guys have lots of questions on that. And then if you're just grabbing this stuff for the contracts, man, we have every single one of our contracts in here. And we're using them in these states. Like Rick is using all of these contracts in these states. It's easily at least $20,000 bucks. I can't even put a number on that. But if you just grabbed it for that, you guys already won. We sell this on our website for $1,500 bucks. And you also get certified in Creative Financing Real Estate Association. Our students, including Rick, has actually got multiple deals over somebody because when he was talking to the competition, they said, "Are you certified in creative financing?" And Rick, of course, was, and they weren't. We sell our group coaching for $4,000. This is 5 calls per week, so you can jump on Zoom calls consistently. I run Mondays, the coaches run Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and you get to constantly communicate with us on our platform in Slack as well. This is our wicked smart community that we've been building. In Slack, we communicate a lot of different things, answering Q&A, going through deals, and just making sure that you get to stay up to date on absolutely everything. We also have our 10th annual event in Boston this year. We've been training on this for 10 years. This is in Boston. We're going to give you guys a ticket as well. It's right in downtown Boston, October 4th through the 6th. So you guys will get a free ticket to that as well. This is that In the Trenches boot camp that I was mentioning about. I won't play another video for you, but we go deep into helping people do your deals. We sell those tickets for $2,500. So for you guys here tonight, we just want to make sure that it makes absolute no-brainer for you. We're going to give you a 30-day money-back guarantee, and also we're going to sell it to you for $897. We normally sell, again, we sell this for at least $1,500. All this stuff, we're going to give you that discount. We do, I think, have a 1, 2, and a 3 pay on the website too, so make it super easy for you guys as well. So you guys get access to the coaching, the event, In the Trenches boot camp, our weekly calls, and our platform, and our course as well. As I mentioned, 30-day money-back guarantee. I know that some of you guys may say that that's too much for me right now, and I totally get it. So I just want to make sure, like, at a bare minimum, number one, you guys need to walk away with the free books, right? It's all on the same website. You can at least get the free books if you just want to educate yourself with the book. Those of you that really want to actually start implementing this strategy, you can dive into our program. But if you just want to dive into the course and get a ticket to our event, you can buy the course for $300. Okay, this is for you guys only, okay? This will be available through tonight. On Saturday, so again, it's smartrealestatecoach.com/New Hampshire 2025. On Saturday, I'm also going to give you 3 more courses that are equal to $700 in value that we sell on our website. You guys will get those absolutely for free too. I know you're going to be taking time out of a Saturday away from your family. Trust me, it's like the first weekend I've haven't had a hockey tournament forever, and I'm going to be up here. So I want to spend the time with you guys, but I also know I want to make sure you guys make absolutely no brainer. So if you don't buy anything at all, you'll at least get $700 worth of value as well out of it. So again, see us on Saturday. I believe you can grab tickets for Saturday. What's her name? Diane over at